And then after Epiphany, then we move into the season of Lent, which begins with Ash Wednesday and goes through Palm Sunday. And Palm Sunday is one of those transition Sundays that people argue about. What season is it part of? For our purposes, we're going to say it's a transition Sunday. So it starts with Ash Wednesday, where we hear this line, you are from dust, and to dust you shall return. Right? Which seems kind of morbid. But it's maybe also a sign of hope. Right? Because again, when we talk about incarnation, we talk about how God chose this very physical, fleshy human to be in the world. And so maybe in our fleshiness, in our mortality, God is in the world. Even in our brokenness, even in our dustiness. And we sing this song often, this refrain, return to the Lord. Return to the Lord. So if the refrain from Advent is prepare for the Lord, the refrain for Lent is return to the Lord. Right? It's a little bit of a different kind of waiting, a different kind of turning. One, you're cleaning up your house because you're getting ready. One, you're cleaning up your house because you realize how messy it's become. Right? You're still cleaning up your house, but you do it from a different space. The color of Lent is purple as a sign of repentance. And we have stories in our readings about the temptation of Jesus, about the wanderings. When we think about the 40 days of Lent, maybe some of us will think about the 40 years that the Israelites wandered in the wilderness. Right? The 40 days that Jesus was in the wilderness going through his own temptation. And so we think about those times in our lives that have felt like seasons of wanderings. Last year, I was going through a bit of a hard time, and I remember kind of waking up one morning and realizing, oh, here I go. I'm headed into the wilderness. And I just knew that this was going to be a season of wilderness for me. And so, sure enough, for me it was about 60 days later, right? It was about 2.5 months later. I woke up one day and I was like, okay, that season is over. I don't know, for me, I've never had it quite that distinct before. But as I think back on my life, I can think of these seasons of dryness in my emotional life, in my relational life, in my spiritual life. These times when I've ended up just crying out to God and saying, I need to return. I need to return. I've lost my way. And Lent gives us that regular opportunity to do that. So it gives us this opportunity to ask, where are we wandering? What could be stripped away to hear God in a new way? A lot of us will think of Lent as the time that you give up chocolate or coffee. But why is that? Why is it that we have taken on this practice of giving something up during the season of Lent? Because it gives us an opportunity to refocus. It gives us an opportunity to recenter ourselves and say, what have I become too dependent on? Right? And maybe not so much about giving up, but turning back to. Turning back to. What have I become distracted from that I need to return to? So if I'm spending too much time watching TV, it's not just about giving up TV, it's about spending that time intentionally in relationships. So in my own faith practice, I've chosen to reframe that Lenten practice of giving something up. And instead, every year I think, what do I need to return to this year? What spiritual practices do I need to take on again that I've lost sight of or lost track of? What conversations do I need to reach out for because I haven't talked to these friends in a while and we've lost our way, right? So it's not just this time of fasting, but it's this time of intentional returning to these things that give us life. So what do you need to reclaim to restore health and life?